What's up, guys? Bear with me. I had to restart that. It was acting weird, and now, of course, Facebook is acting weird. Oh boy. There we go. Finally. Jeez. Yep. Yeah, I had to restart. Well, I was going to restart it anyway because I was going to let Chris promote his Kickstarter a little bit, and I didn't want it to be him doing it on the tail end of. Oh, that's weird. I can't pull her up. All right. What's up, Mr. Christopher?
Hi. I saw your post in the indie artist group. I've joined so many of those stupid things over the last few days. They all basically start merging together.
Yeah, they do. And the sad thing is most of the time they don't generate any traction.
Oh my God. I got into an argument with some guy saying, "Oh, you got to join more groups. You're not in enough groups and keep posting." And I'm like, posting to what and who? Nobody is commenting other than the same two people. It's like
Yeah.
me and Wendy Shaner, who does Naughty Fairy Stripper Assassins, which is one of my cover artists for Colleen the Vampire, said the same thing. She's like, I think we're the only two people who are actually commenting and posting. So when my Kickstarter is done, I'm leaving all those groups.
Yeah, it's the indie groups. That's like what we were talking about earlier on the other podcast. It's this industry is really strange. A lot of people love to talk that community stuff and everything, but nobody really wants to walk it. They don't want to cross promote. They don't want to share. I mean, I've done a cover for Wendy's book before.
I had
Long time
somebody
ago.
I invited on my show, like, say, hey, we should help each other's Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And sorry, drop my PlayStation controller. My first, his first message to me recently was, "Did you back my Kickstarter?"
Uh huh.
I was just like, "I
And
will. Are you gonna
let
back
me
mine?" So it's
let me
like, okay,
guess.
so what is this gonna be? Who
Uh huh.
hangs up first?
Yeah, and let me guess. When he
Give me
came
one
to
second.
you and
Sorry.
said,
Sorry.
yeah. And let me guess, when he came to you and asked you and said we should promote one another, I can just about guarantee
No,
you
no,
his
no, 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 no. In fair honest, I reached out to him because I thought his idea was pretty cool. But it just became kind of like, well, who's gonna back who's first?
Oh, okay. It's because the one I usually get is someone will say that to me about, hey, we should cross promote and help one another. And almost every time that I've had that happen, they had an active Kickstarter.
Yeah, the only thing is like you can't obviously fund everyone's Kickstarter you run across. You're gonna
No,
lose a
but
lot
you
of money,
could share.
or you
But
might not lose any money depending if the Kickstarter doesn't.
yeah, people could
But you know
share.
what I'm saying? You want to help out the other indie artists, but at the same time, it's like, okay, so how much money did I just spend on Kickstarter just trying to get my own that I could have put into my own Kickstarter funded?
Well, if people were smart about it, and sadly, that's one of the things that I've come to realize when it comes to the art community, the majority don't have a clue how to run a business. And so they don't understand how beneficial cross promoting can be or how beneficial, because even at the end of the day, if you're trading money, so let's say somebody backs your Kickstarter for $10 or 15, and then you go over and you back their Kickstarter for 10 or 15. All you've done is swap money, but you've also shared out each other's content. It's a win-win. But
Right.
people don't view it that way. But so give everybody a quick rundown. Like what's going on with your Kickstarter, title, book, etc.
Can you put the link in the thing? Do you have the ability to do that so it pops up?
Let me find it.
The last thing I messaged you.
Yeah, why is it not showing me?
Look in the chat between us, the DM.
No, no, yeah, I know how to operate it. It's just it's not pulling you up, and now it is. I don't. Facebook is garbage, man. Oh, so let me put it here in the chat.
That by the way, that Skeletor and He-Man behind you is pretty awesome. That He-Man reminds me of the 2002 cartoon series.
Ah, thank you, man. Yeah, I'm a big collector. This is
Those
only
busts
about.
those busts are huge. I don't have room for busts, but I got a. Hold on, let me. So I don't accidentally drop something else, break it. If I could turn the camera that way, you can see Snake Mountain and
Yeah,
Castle Grayskull and like 1,000 figures. So the
yeah,
Origin figures, I've been buying the Origin figures like crazy. I don't have every single one, but there's a few that I could still easily attain. Like I got like Randor and
right.
the elephant guy sitting in my Amazon thing. But
Yeah, I collected the toys for a little while. I collected comics for a while, then I sold those, and then I collected toys for a little bit. So I kind of got rid of those. I kept a few of them, like my original Optimus Prime and Nemesis Prime, and I think I gave my original Skeletor, or I'm sorry, Castle Grayskull to my grandson. So. So now I just collect statues, and I got way too damn many. But yeah, give them a rundown there, Christopher, on your project, what it's about, where you're at, issue, etc.
it's sorry. It's Colleen the Vampire. It's a sequel to Vlada, a Dracula Tale, book Ken Hunt and I did like 5 years ago on
Oh
Kickstarter.
yeah, yeah.
And so we did it October to November of 2020. That, chestnut of a year. And we did a black and white. We were gonna do a comic book and we turned it into I don't have my example with me. Of course not. I must have packed it away. We turned it into like Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein. So we decided to do it as like a graphic novella with a story. And some people were disappointed. They were like, "Oh, I thought it was going to be a comic book," and I was just like, "Well, at the last minute, we decided to do this." We So we did like when all is said and done, after like add-ons and backer kit and late pledges and more shit or whatever, we probably did about 15 grand.
Nice.
And now like there have been a couple of tie-in books that have come out since then, and then decided to do excuse me, decided to do this sequel, which is directly a sequel to it, called Colleen the Vampire, which is a character I introduced in this gender swap story with Dracula, where again we take the basic story and you just gender swap all the characters. So Dracula's a girl, Redfield, Van Helsing, Mina and Lucy are now dudes. The Dracula's husband, brides are now Dracula's husbands. This is one of the art pieces from that by Ken Hunt.
Yeah, I know Ken. He's a good. I like Ken a lot. He's a good dude. I love his style. He's done a cover for Psycho Sal, so
yeah.
that's beautiful.
This is Vlada as a bat. This was hanging up in the Man Ray Goth Club in Cambridge for a little while. It actually got sold, but then the person unfortunately couldn't sell it, so we're selling it on the Kickstarter right now. Excuse me. So Ken can't do the comic book. He's got personal life stuff happening right now. He just had to cancel his recent Comic-Con appearance at the Harrisburg Comic-Con in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, that's all over his Facebook. So it's me, Tim Vigil, and Matt Slay are going to be the artist writer on it. Tim Vigil and Matt Slay pretty much like divide the book up. So this is part 1 of 2. As long as this gets funded, we'll do part 2 next year. I don't know what the team is going to be next year. But Tim Vigil is the primary artist and the cover artist for it. He'll have 2 covers. One of his regular cover, which is in the Kickstarter link. Let me see if I can send it through the chat. And then he'll also have like a XXX rated cover too, because you can't have Tim Vigil on your book and not do something incredibly hardcore adult. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I guess. You'll have to forgive me. I don't really buy into too much of the TNA books. I just.
Oh, it's just this one cover. So.
Yeah. But I get what you're talking about. It's like having Bart Sears on a book and you're not having him draw superheroes.
Right. And then the other cover artists include, again, Ken Hunt, who was able to do a cover. Heather Rose, who's also here from Massachusetts. Chandra Akerblom, who's also from Massachusetts. Um, Jake Kennedy, who's also from Massachusetts. Len Danovich, Matt Slay obviously has a cover, and Wendy Shaner, and Nick Capone colored Ken's cover as well. He's got a book out called Purity, which is really good.
Okay.
So it's on Kickstarter right now until September 11th.
September 11th. Okay. Yeah, I just shared the link out for you in chat.
Unintended to be September 11th. I did the math as 28 days because 28 years later was in theaters, and I said, "Oh, that's how long I'll do the Kickstarter for, 28 days." And then afterwards, when Kickstarter got back to me and said, "You're approved," and I saw when the 28 days ends, I was like, "Oh shit, it's September 11th."
Yeah. It's, how have you, with the book you've got going, you guys said you did Vlad, that one a couple of years ago. What was the name of it?
Vlada, A Dracula Tale.
Yeah. How did you, as another horror creator, how have you seen the reception of horror comics in general? Because we know it's been a small niche market. It's always been a small, almost non-existent for a long time. But here over the last 10 or 15 years, horror's kind of picked up a little bit, especially in comics over the last 6 or 7 years. How's your experience been doing Kickstarters and stuff as a horror creator?
I've only done the one. So that's not true. This is the 4th Kickstarter I've done, and the first one was a Vlada movie, and that failed miserably. And the second one was the Vlada graphic novel, and that was a huge success. Again, did 15 grand when it was all said and done.
Right.
Add-ons, retailers, you know what I mean? It even when it hit 12 grand ending on Kickstarter, it did more with people being like, "Oh, I missed that, but here's $1,000. Can I get all the copies of the books or whatever?" And I was just like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely. You can have whatever you want for $1,000."
Yeah, no lie.
Yeah. So I did an audiobook after that, and then in terms of Kickstarter, Wendy has a book out right now on Kickstarter that's all ages, and she even said to me it's doing half the money that she normally does on Kickstarter. Her books normally do between 10 to 20 grand. And her book right now on Kickstarter has hit its goal, but it's only done 3 to 4 grand. Yeah. And I think it's because it's an all ages, very cute dragon book, where she's used to doing TNA sex books.
Yeah, that'll always sell.
It's called naughty fairy stripper assassins for a reason. It's about strippers who are naughty. You know what I mean? The covers are very, it's an adult book. It's got nudity in it and stuff. Yeah. Tarot Witch of the Black Rose. God, what's the highest grossing Kickstarter out there? Do you know? I know, but I was asking if you knew.
As far as regular Kickstarters, I don't know. Obviously, I know Brian Polito's Lady Death always does it, but that's a whole different ball game.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. And he's left Kickstarter. Okay.
Yeah, he's got his own Kickstarter now.
Yeah, technically, the highest grossing Kickstarter is in a comic, but let's just stick to comics. I'm not getting into everything else. But in comics, the highest grossing Kickstarter is, last time I heard, was $2 million. That was Berserker by John Wick, what's his face? Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Which people bitch and complain saying, why does he need $2 million to make a Kickstarter? Why can't he just penny up his own money?
Yeah.
Why should he have to do that though? If you want it and you want to participate in it, oh, look at that. Shut up. It already made $2 million before that question. That book sold within seconds, like the Transformer book. That got funded within seconds. But Brian Polito conquered Kickstarter, and then he left, and now he's doing his own platform. He's had 3 books under his current platform. I think Lady Death's book is started or is about to start. Yeah. I know I funded Lady Satanis issue 2 because I had the first issue, and I have most of those Lady Death books. I think I'm behind on 1.
Yeah. Brian.
I have all of those Lady Death, well, at least the Lady Death book itself, and Hell Witch. So. Yeah. And they are, they made a few of those Lady Death books did $500,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And in total, he's got probably a few $1 million worth of Kickstarters that funded. I don't know what the sales are, So obviously, Lady Death's a combination of action, horror, and
Yeah.
superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's a precedent there, but I think everyone going in there, I think they're going to turn around and become Brian Pulido on Kickstarter is insane because Brian Pulido's got 30 years of comic book
Yeah, exactly. That's
backstory.
why I
Like,
don't. When people talk Kickstarter, that's why I don't really. I love Brian. I've done a cover for Lady Death. I love Brian and his wife. They're absolute sweethearts. And Brian's definitely the Kickstarter whisperer. But yeah, that's why I don't ever like compare him to
no,
any of
he's
the
got a
other
built-in
stuff.
fan base.
Yeah, he's got 30 years worth of loyal fan base.
I mean, as soon as they found out he got Lady Death back for the rights, it was all, and he was going to go to Kickstarter with it. The first one came out of the gate and shocked people, and people missed it. And then the second one tripled what the first one did because they missed it the first time. Because it was still, let's face it, Kickstarter at the time, I guess, was still kind of unknown. You know what I mean? I did a Kickstarter back in 2014. That was the one that failed. But I mean, the thing is, the Kickstarter had a terrible reputation for a while because people were making toast of Jesus and peanut butter sandwiches, stupid crap like they made in their kitchen. They wanted money for because they
Yep.
were like, I made a peanut butter jelly sandwich, so they got 10 grand for doing it. And then after a while, people were like, oh, I mean, I can make art and put it on Kickstarter, and people will buy it. Oh, I should actually do that. And then Kickstarter finally like changed, so they're not just letting people do dumb crap on there anymore with toast of Jesus and other nonsense.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird thing these days. Is because you see what people you see people that just half-ass shit, and it blows my mind. Like I've sat with people and they talk about how trashy their book is, and it'll do $30,000-$40,000, and I'm like, well, that's because that sales. And then you got people doing legit, trying to do legit storytelling, legit quality, and they'll kind of hover around the 10 to 15 range. And but like you said, you got people that'll do this pure stupidity crap, and it blows my mind that they convince people to give them money.
Yeah, I mean, there are Kickstarters that obviously um, have some kind of fan base with their artists because I'm running alongside other Kickstarters that have already hit $25,000 and they only needed a couple grand, and I'm just like, what did they do? You know what I mean? And then I know some behind the scenes fishy stuff that some Kickstarters. Like I know somebody who was running a Kickstarter with a group of people. I'm gonna be as very vague about this as I can. And he came on my show and I asked him a bunch of questions about his Kickstarter. Like I am not an expert on how to run it, but I am not a stupid reporter. I know what questions to ask when I see things that don't make sense to me. And then sure enough, 2 days later, he canceled his Kickstarter after he had already met goal, doubled what he needed. And I said, why? And then he made a big post explaining what happened, or at least as much as he wanted to explain. And that's when I was just like, I think someone put two and two together when I asked him a bunch of very deep personal questions. And he turned around and asked the people helping him those very personal questions, and they didn't give him the answers he wanted. And sure enough, he ran his Kickstarter again about a month later. Didn't do as much, but did all right. But I thought it was damn funny. And this is like a group of people that are running Kickstarters on some garbage stuff I've seen, like stuff that I've reached out to other creators that look that I've said, hey, that book you do that I've seen in stores and is very popular. Have you seen this Kickstarter? It looks like it's ripping it off in every way possible. And their just response to me is like, oh, we're aware, and so are our lawyers.
Yep. I mean, it's sad because we've caught that too, where we're sitting here trying to I get established books doing 30, 40, $50,000. They generated a fan base for whether I like the project or not, they've got the fan base and okay, cool. But then I'll sit here and I'll look at some of these Kickstarters and it'll be like their first Kickstarter and it's a weekend and they got $40,000 or they got $30,000. And I'm sitting here going, there's some fishy shit here and I think what it is I think they're shell bidding, for lack of a better description, like people do on auctions. I think they've got a bunch of their friends jumping on, backing all this money, because at the end of the day, at the end of the last day of the Kickstarter, they can jump in there and cancel every bit of that. And that Kickstarter or let it run with a fake credit card and it doesn't go through. But on the Kickstarter, it still looks like it did $40,000 or $50,000. Like
Now that's one thing I haven't investigated yet is like if your Kickstarter hits its goal and then at when the credit card things happen and one of the credit cards crashes because it's not up to date or whatever reason,
yep.
does Kickstarter then say no, you failed?
Nope. Now on the inside, it'll say maybe you didn't, but on the actual, like when you go look at the page for the Kickstarter, whatever when that Kickstarter ended, whatever those numbers are showing from backers to money stays, because I can go look at my
Wow.
Kickstarter
So
right
you're
now.
saying, okay, I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Shit.
So,
Jeez, I should have done that.
So what I'm
No,
thinking they're doing,
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you, man. I've seen. I'm not at goal yet, and I've seen. And people have asked me the same question. They're like, "How the hell do you have already $4,000, but you only have 65 backers?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not going to post the names, but I'll post you the numbers." And I sent some. I blocked out all the names, and I posted the numbers, being like, "This person bid $85, and this person bid," and I'm hoping their credit cards go through because I'm going to message every single one of them like a week ahead of time and be like, "FYI, the thing ends in a week. Make damn sure your credit card is up to date."
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because last time I didn't do that, and sure enough, there was at least 20 backers that didn't have their credit cards up to date. And I had to message every single one of them, be like, "What the f, dude? Fix your credit card now, today, like right now." And most of them did. There was still like 4 that didn't. And then, of course, what I absolutely do love is that after you've shipped everything, you still have people who haven't filled out their surveys. You're sitting on 10 people's Kickstarters that you have their money for, and after a year, I just resold it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I do. I like when my
Kickstarter even tells you. Kickstarter even says give everyone 6 months to a year to get their survey back to you. It's the most professional thing. I went out. I asked Jim Malott, Tara Witch of the Black Rose, like how long do you wait? He's like a year, and then otherwise we resell it. It's professional. But if they're not going to get back to you,
I don't get it. That shit blows my mind. How the hell do you not put your address? How do you not want your books that you paid for? It's crazy.
One of the backers I know died. So because it was COVID times, one of the backers I found out died of COVID. So, and then one of the backers apparently had like brain cancer. So he forgot that he even bid on it, and he bid on a big piece too. So it had already shipped to him, and he called me asking, looking for it, and I was just like, according to tracking information, you've had it for 2 months, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." This was like a and then like a sketch. This was like a sketch cover, I think. Yeah, this was a sketch cover. I feel really bad for that person, but I did have somebody contact me 2 years later and say, "Hey, I never filled out my thing. Do you still have my books?" I was just like, "I will ship you a book, but I don't have that cover anymore."
Yeah.
He's like, "That's okay. I just want the book. I don't care about the swag. I understand that I bid on something that was high and I didn't get it. Can I just have the book?" And I was like, "Yeah, here's a copy of the book. You at least still deserve that."
Yeah, it's I've got a couple sitting in my closet from last year that they've never contacted. So I'll leave it in there. But yeah, I think that's what some of these people are doing. I think they meet their goal and they're happy with that. They'll get $2,000 or $3,000, but then you'll see them spike. And I think they're trying to convince people, "Oh, you better go buy our stuff. Look how much money it's doing on Kickstarter." You know what I mean? I think it's a way of trying to, give false.
And my hand to God, Ken Hunt and I did not know what we were doing when we put the Kickstarter out last time. We just put a number out there to print a bunch of books, and he's like, Ken's attitude was, "We'll figure out how to pay me afterwards. Let's just get this thing to bed." Yeah. And we put it out there. And we met the goal within seconds. You know what I mean? It was $2,000. It was so easy to hit. And then it started climbing, and then we did $4,000 the next day. You know what I mean? And then it slowed down a little bit. And by the time it was all, by the middle of the Kickstarter, when it completely slows down, we were up to about 6 or 7 grand. Which is where I need to be right now. I need to be at 7 grand. And I'm under no illusions that if this thing doesn't get funded, it doesn't get produced. I don't have any contract with the artists, so basically they could take their artwork and just sell it somewhere else.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want it to be successful so it can be funded. I want it to be a little bit more than goal, so that way anything I may have missed can get covered correctly, things like that. Otherwise, I have a backup plan for a couple things, but not this book. This book will sit in the closet. That will sit for a while. It failed on Kickstarter. it's going to sit away for a while. I have other projects I need to work on. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Everyone will walk away. Any of the artwork I did pay for, I'll use for prints or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
I'm on the,
I
I'm on
want
the,
it to be successful because next year we'll do part two. How
yeah.
and we'll do part two, probably better than the way that we did part one. I mean, I had 165 people sign up for the Kickstarter before launch, and only 40 of them, according to Kickstarter, have pledged so far.
See, that's something else. See, a lot of that's what's really, and that was the point of my video tonight, which just turned into a rant video because I'm so annoyed with how people are behaving right now in the industry in general. But that was the whole point to the video tonight when I first went live, was to just pull some people in, let them promote their stuff, and try to brainstorm and talk about ideas to get people to pay more attention. Because, like, even for myself, I do well with what I do. I mean, I've been doing this 7 years. I've got 160 published covers in that time. Everything from indie to Image Comics to Dynamite Comics to Lady Death, etc. And I've got my own successful IP with Psycho Sal that's up to 9 issues. I've already had Curse Moonlight that came out, and we've got 2 more IPs dropping this year also. So, knock on wood, I've been doing well, but when you look at the grand scheme of things from a business, the same way, like with you with your Kickstarter, you got 160 people that sign up wanting notified when it goes live, but then only 40 people show up. We can't figure out why those numbers are being that way. Like, for me personally, I've got over 10,000 people across my platforms that follow me, supposedly a fan, et cetera, et cetera. But every Kickstarter we're doing, we're only averaging about 100 to 110 backers per Kickstarter. And that's what we were trying to figure out. I've tried to brainstorm with other people, and we just can't see, because it's not a promoting issue for us anyway. It's not necessarily a fan base issue as far as the hardcores are concerned. But we can't figure out how to convert more of those mainstream fans and collectors into buying indie books. And
Somebody told me, and this really bothered me because this happened yesterday, and I talked to Ken about it, and he told me to go tell that guy to go screw himself. But somebody told me that I'm not promoting the book, I'm not promoting the Kickstarter enough properly, and I need to be serious with every post, and nothing should come across as like either anger or jokey. And he's like comparing to me to some girl that Ken Hunt worked with some girl, and I said to him, do you know who this is? And he said, yeah, she's an independent freelance artist. She has the time to do 100 interviews a month for her Kickstarters, Chris. You have a full-time job and a son. You're not going to have that time to do an interview every single day. And I've contacted like a dozen different like platforms that I've seen creators interviews on that this creator has done. These platforms and YouTube channels, they haven't had any content posted in a couple months. I'm like, why would I contact them to help me promote my Kickstarter? They haven't posted a video in 2 to 3 months.
right.
Their channel is dead. It's like, who am I supposed to be contacting? And I emailed a couple of things, and they'll get back to me hopefully before it happens. But I'm posting on Facebook, Thread, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, more than some of my artists are. And some of my artists are posting a hell of a lot. And not all the artists involved are on every single social media platform, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Some of them can't handle all the social media platforms, and that's totally fine. But I'm posting every single place I possibly could think of.
Yeah.
Except for my personal today, I didn't post about it. I just decided not to. It's like, how many times can you bombard your friends with the same freaking images that they get that you're running a Kickstarter for?
Well, see, I look at it on the flip side. I'm here to run a business. I promote heavily. So when my Kickstarter's live, I'm promoting at least twice a day. I'm sharing. Now, I'm not sharing to the same area, so I'll share out to different groups each day. But I'm going to share to my pages at least once a day. And if people don't like it, they can unfriend me and roll on. I'm here to run a business. So that's the way I look at it. Now, some people have bitched that I promote too much, but you know what? I'm fighting algorithms. I'm fighting everybody else's posts. I'm fighting political this, political that. I'm so damn burnt out on seeing political shit. It's ridiculous. So me personally, when it comes to my page, that's the way I've put it blunt. If you don't like the way I promote, you can leave.
I just promoted a thing in a bunch of non-AI artist groups of that Guillermo del Toro just said today about why he made Frankenstein the way he did, and why art needs to be the way it is. He had this whole speech at Comic-Con before he
Yep.
introduced George Lucas or whatever, and man,
Yep.
there was an entire standing ovation for his speech about how AI is just an absolute crapshoot. If you're using it, you're not an artist, and go screw yourself. And he
Yep.
basically posted that online today, and I reshared that to every single artist group I possibly could. And I got some hit back on a couple by people
Oh,
that were like defending AI, just like,
oh
oh
yeah.
well, so easy for him to say he has millions of dollars. I'm just like, are you making a movie too? What is your comment about whatever? You just pissed because Del Toro is successful and you're not? Like, what is this? Or this other person complaining that, oh well, it took him forever to make The Hobbit and he never did it. I'm like, that has nothing to do with this post, and that had nothing to do with him either. So your comments make no sense. You just want to something to be angry about, so you decide to pick on this post or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, no, what it
Defend
really is, they
AI.
want us to accept it. That's what they want. A lot of these people think if they try to justify AI enough that we will finally go, okay, you know what? I don't care. And I'm sorry, we have to fight that one tooth and nail, but we also have to fight for our right to promote. So in my personal opinion, don't be scared to promote, man. You're here to run a business. And if somebody loves you and they're your supporter, they're not going to bitch about how much you shared out some content. The only people that are going to damn bitch about that are probably the people who aren't buying your content anyway.
Or I love running into the people who want to tell you how to run your Kickstarter, and if you're not doing it exactly the way they think you should, they get annoyed at you, pissed at you, or their couple lines go into a paragraph of why it is the industry is suffering, and
Yeah,
it's like, are you what are you pissed about? The fact that I'm not taking your advice? Because I should be pissed at the fact that you're not funding my Kickstarter.
yeah,
I'm
there
giving
you
you all
go.
this advice, but you don't want to send money to the Kickstarter?
Yeah, but they love it.
They're,
Oh, I
they're,
get that too. I don't know how many times I've had people tell me how I should run my art and my business, and I'm like, so I finally, I started doing these live videos every so often. I'd make it clear, every so often. I'm like, unless your ass is paying into my business, you don't get to have an opinion on my business. Too many people like to give unsolicited advice here. And, if you're talking on a video in general, that's fine. But if you're PMing someone, telling them what they should or shouldn't do with their business, in my mind, I think it's wrong, especially if you're not somebody that's sharing it, promoting it, buying into it. You don't get to have an opinion. You just don't.
Yeah, I mean, I had somebody who's helping me like with outreach in comic book stores that I can't get out to. People that I got distracted by that pop up. I got someone who's reaching out for me at comic book stores that are just too far to drive out to. You know what I mean? It's just like it's not really worth it to drive out there just to find out that they're not going to be interested in helping promote it. But
Right.
he's helping get that word out there to stores that I can't get to, which is really great. And I have a couple other friends that are going to do the same thing. Not every store wants to promote a Kickstarter. That's for damn sure. They learned that lesson a long time ago, and I've had stores blank tell me they're like, I stopped doing the Kickstarters for comic books a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do the ones that I know are successful because it's just like I can't rely on that anymore for my business. Even though
Yeah.
they can't rely on Diamond either, by the way. There's no Diamond anymore. I don't even know what the distribution is. Distribution's everything in these days.
Yeah.
It's Lunar, it's everybody. There's so
Penguin,
many distributors of comic books now. It's not just Diamond anymore.
yes,
Diamond doesn't
Penguin and
exist.
Lunar
Diamond's dead.
now.
The fall of the comic book industry happened earlier this year.
I mean, I think the sad thing is, and this is like, again, us brainstorming sessions I've had with other creators, I personally believe that indie has the potential to be one hell of a monster. But we just can't seem to get everybody on the same damn page. So many people are paranoid about cross promoting. They're scared to death it's going to steal money out of their damn pocket, which is the dumbest shit ever. And then of course, you just have the petty people, the jealous people, the lazy people, or the people that just don't know any better. So you have a mixture. But I mean, if we could figure out some way to get people to actually walk the walk of this community talk shit, dude, I think indie could really blow up with a lot of people's stuff.
I've had the last thing I mentioned because then I got to go. I wrote a book, came out this year, called The New England Comic Book Store Owners. Is interviews with 35 different comic book stores. I don't know if you've seen a video running around YouTube right now about a guy who visited every single comic book store in Massachusetts, and he has a goal to visit every single comic book store in North America.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he like I guess he's off to a good start. So he did Massachusetts. He visited every store in Massachusetts and did a rating, like a quick in and out video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like probably like an hour long because of how many stores are in Massachusetts, which you cannot believe how many stores are here in Massachusetts. It's unbelievable. People say New York has a lot of stores. Like now, Massachusetts got a ton of stores. We're a tiny state.
Wow.
So I interviewed 35 store owners from the six states. And the one thing a lot of them have told me is that their audience banned indie comics, and they only have like Marvel and DC subscribers, with the exception of like what's that book called? Saga. I had to look over to see what's called Saga. Once upon a time as The Walking Dead, and then they may have some older fans that are still into like buying Spawn and Savage Dragon, only from days of long ago Image. Otherwise, it's Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Wolverine, Deadpool. It's Marvel and DC, Marvel and DC. You know what I mean? They're like, we had like we carry Archie as well because that will still sell, but it's Marvel and DC. And then some places say that they will do nothing but promote. They said one thing we don't need to do is we do not need to promote Marvel and DC. They will promote themselves no matter what. People will find Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, especially if they got a movie coming out. When Superman blew up at the box office, they could not keep Superman titles in the store. It was just that good for them, which is great news for Superman because I always loved Superman over Batman. And it's great news for comic book stores that people are going to the stores being like, where's that James Gunn book? Or where's the book James Gunn keeps talking about? Where's the story Superman the movie is based on? Oh, it's these three right here. And I'm so happy for that. Wish I could show it to you. I have that giant Superman book, the one that was like $150 that came out last year. It's like,
I know what you're
talking about. It's so freaking big. It's so big. But anyway, but they're again, some of the stores are telling me that they don't have any subscribers for indie comics. Some of the stores are telling me we don't need to promote Marvel and DC. We promote nothing but indie comics because Marvel and DC will promote themselves. There's nothing we need to do with it or whatever. We'll put up one poster of Superman or Spider-Man, but otherwise it's always going to be like Image and Dark Horse and Dynamite, which are indie studios, despite the fact they do have big name properties like Masters of the Universe, Voltron, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Thundercats, Space Ghost. That's a big one. You know what I mean? But they want to promote like local people's independent books. They don't want to promote a local person from California's independent book in Massachusetts. It's just not going to sell for them. But they will, if there's local talent in it, they will. And I mentioned to them about my Kickstarter, and then they shot it down completely. And they were just like, that's the one thing we can't get behind anymore is Kickstarter. I was like, what was the big thing about Kickstarter that hurt you? And they said, it's independent people's fulfillment has been awful. They said for every five that might actually put the book out on time, there's one that we take a big chance on, and it costs us tons of money because we don't see that book for almost a year and a half. And I was just like, and that's why I told like my entire crew, you have until like Christmas to get everything done. With the Kickstarter will end in September. I won't see the money until probably late September because it takes like 2 to 3 weeks for Kickstarter to send it to you. So you have until December, and then we'll have it out in January. You know what I mean? It'll take like 2 minutes for somebody who knows what they're doing to format the comic book and then send it to the printer. Printer makes the corrections, sends it back, and then it's good to go with the different covers that we need. But I'm making damn sure that I'm not going to fall into the like a year later the comic book hasn't come out because I've been on those receiving ends of Kickstarters. There's still people on Kickstarter whose stuff I've backed that had incredible artwork. I have never seen the book.
Nope. I've got a couple I backed from 2 years ago. Still haven't seen the light of day. That did $30,000 or $40,000 on their Kickstarter.
I mean, there's also like films that have that problem, but honestly, though, if you invest in a film that's on Kickstarter, you need to realize that it could take a while for that film to be made unless it's already half shot, especially documentaries. Documentaries on Kickstarter have a notorious time of like, oh, what's the biggest hurdle? Distribution and legal. Or now distribution's picked it up, so they've got to deal with that before you get your Kickstarter back to, like, or they got so much money and they got so much more content, it's now evolved into something else, like RoboDoc is the most famous one. That thing was funded back in like 2016, and it's now a 3-4 part TV series documentary with every part going to be about the franchise of RoboCop. And the first one finally came out and the discs came out, but they promised everybody, oh, you're going to get a RoboCop 2 documentary, a RoboCop 3 documentary, and then the rest of the franchise documentary as well in separate discs. And I'm like, you know what? The first one I got in the mail. It was great. The packaging was well done. It is a long, exhaustive documentary. It was worth the wait. I could wait for the part 2, 3, and 4. You know what I mean? Or something like a video game, which is like also a huge gamble because stuff like Friday the 13th will happen, which was not Gun Media's fault. And of course, what happened today? Gun Media just announced they got the Halloween franchise and they have a Halloween game coming out.
Yeah. And I was in the
beta testing. Everywhere.
I was in the beta testing for the Friday the 13th. That game was so much fun. I hated that happened. It was so much fun. But but
Halloween is got better options than Friday the 13th, and we'll have to wait and see. I know people are pissed about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't know what happened exactly with that or whatever. But we'll have to see. But at least with Halloween, they said there's going to be a single player campaign. There's going to be a multiplayer, so you can play as Jason and your friends, or you can play the single player campaign. And we'll just have to wait and see. So
I'll have to check that one out too, because I'm a big horror fan. So, well, all right. Well, Christopher, give everybody a quick rundown again, who you are, where they can find you, your little brief information about your Kickstarter again that ends in September. So give them that little brief rundown, and I appreciate you hanging out for a little while.
It's Colleen the Vampire on Kickstarter right now. It ends September 11th. It started list past Friday. As of the time that we're on live right now, it's up to $4,000 of $7,000. I definitely wanted to do more than $7,000. There's incredible artwork on it. Matt Slay, who is the second artist behind Tim Vigil's, got some incredible watercolor artwork that he's selling on the Kickstarter. And Heather Rose has like a canvas print version of her cover coming as well. And there's a bunch of great stuff on there. There's a ton of add-ons. There's so many add-ons. My girlfriend said to me, she thinks it's overwhelming how much stuff is on there, especially if you've never been a Kickstarter before. It can be really overwhelming going through all the stuff to add on. And I'm just like, it's just stuff to add money to the Kickstarter. You know, you can just pick your books and just be like, oh, I want one of these and these and these. And then that's good to go. Or just buy the bundle. Like there's a Tim Vigil bundle that has like the 6 of the books that he's worked with me on. So it can be overwhelming for someone who's never been a Kickstarter, but I think it's very easy to navigate. Again, it's Colleen the Vampire. It's the sequel to Vlada, a Dracula Tale. So you can go to Vlada, a Dracula Tale on Facebook or Twitter. It's the only 2 social media it has. I'm on social media for everything, but those are the 2 primary it has for it. It's on Instagram as well under the banner Radio of Horror. But look up Colleen the Vampire on Kickstarter.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Christopher. Like I said, man, thank you for coming on and chatting for a little bit. We're going to try to do more of these once a month or twice a month little creator corner type interviews where we talk to creators and writers and inkers and artists and all that. I don't know how well they'll do. Like I said, that's been one of the issues we've had is sadly people can be a bit flaky to stay in a pattern. But yeah, I hope you have a good night, man, and good luck on your Kickstarter and everything. I got the link shared out in the chat here, guys. So make sure you guys go check out his Kickstarter, take a look at it, and I'll catch you on another time, Christopher, man. You have a good night.
Awesome, dude. Send me a link to your comic book, Psycho Sal.
Yeah, I sure will. I'll send you a link. It's all on my website. The Kickstarter for my next book launches in a couple weeks. We're almost done with it. So
cool.
But I appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. So a little indie corner for you, talking about Christopher and his projects. So make sure you guys go give him a look-see and see what's going on with that. He's done some work with Ken Hunt. As you know, Ken Hunt's a really great artist and a cool guy. He's done a cover for Psycho Sal before. And he's done some work with Christopher on the first book he did. But yeah, you guys make sure you go check him out. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go in there and finish working on another cover for publication. But I appreciate you guys coming out, hanging out. Again, don't forget, this weekend I will be in Shreveport, Louisiana at GeekCon in Pro Row. So make sure you come out and say hi and visit. Also, Psycho Sal number 9 will be launching here soon. We're about 5 pages done, and Psycho Sal will be completed. Issue number 9 will be completed and ready to go to Kickstarter. As you guys know, we 100% complete our books before the Kickstarter even starts. So be ready for that. Also, be ready for let's see what's coming next. The New York Comic-Con exclusive for Psycho Sound #1. We should have those in hand here soon. Also, Curse Moonlight, we're hoping to have in hand here soon. Like I said, the printers are a bit backed up right now, so we have to wait our turn for those books. If you haven't grabbed it yet, please make sure you go over and grab my artist exclusive for Image Comics with Department of Truth Zero, their newest comic that's coming out here in another week or two. That issue is all about DOT and Elvis. So make sure you guys go grab a copy if you haven't. Make sure also you guys make sure you guys are subscribed to the website, www.artofwilliamrussell.com. Like I said, we got a subscribers only giveaway planned for this year. I'm trying to give you guys a chance to get over there and get subscribed to it so you can make sure you are able to take part in the giveaway. I think that's kind of it for updates right now, but yeah, I think that's it for update right now. But yeah, go grab a copy. Department of Truth Zero. The link is on my page. Make sure you guys are supporting indie creators. Make sure you guys are sharing out our content. When you're buying our content, reading our books, please make sure you're doing some type of review post or something, telling what you thought of the book and, how you enjoyed it, etc. And then make sure to share that review out to your comic groups and your comic pages you follow. That word of mouth, like I said, I can't stress that enough. It means the world and it helps tremendously. But I'll talk to you guys later. If you need Psycho Sal, touch base with me. You can order them off my website, issues 1 through 8. Issue 9, of course, is the final issue this year, or the final issue that's coming out. If you contact me direct, you can actually get the bundle cheaper for the sale event that's going on right now. I always do a sale event on every Kickstarter. So right now, you normally issue 1 through 8 is like $130, I think is what it is. And right now you can get it for issues 1 through 8 for like $100 shipped, I think is what the sale event is right now. So if you need Psycho Sal, hit me up. About a serial killer, New Orleans, 1980s. And yes, we were the first ones to do a horror comic set in New Orleans in the 1980s because someone's magically snagged that concept for their own little thing here recently. But anyway, we did it first. But you guys have a great night. You too, Michael, Jim, everybody. You guys have a great night. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. And let's make indie big, guys. No reason we can't. Psycho Sal, number 9, coming to Kickstarter soon. Make sure you're there. We're going to have lots of badass goodies for you. But you guys have a great night.